This conference will
sound
now be
connections.
recorded.
So I was saying, sorry, my name is João Gil. Again, I'm from the marketing team of Kalipso Studio. And today we have with us Rogério Santos. He's going to talk a little bit with us about how is Kalipso a platform that allows you to deploy for different operating systems and also for multiple devices. He will walk a bit through Windows 10, mobile, CE, Android, and iOS. I'll leave you now with Rogério. I believe you want to hear the technical part, so Rogério, it's up to you. Go.
Hi, I'm Rogério. Like João said, I'm here to explain you how a project in Kalipso can be used across many platforms. It's quite simple. You only have to select the platform you need to send the project. You don't have to make any changes to the project itself. In fact, for this presentation, I'm going to use an already made project available in our website. I'm going to show it here. I choose this one in order for us to do not make a project from the start. I will choose this sample project, and I will mail it to you in the end, or you can go here in the site and use it for yourselves and also explore it as this simple application.
By the way, just a simple curiosity about this project. This project was made by someone from our team, and it was made while his kid was homesick. So we just built a simple application for the kid to take pictures and to draw on the pictures.
Yes, that's right. So in order for you to know how easy it was, of course it went he decided to add some other features, but in its basic, it was a simple project, and that's the one I will use to show you all the aspects of Kalipso when we deploy our project. So I'm going to open the project. I have it here already. This is the project that we are going to use it. Of course, we have forms, we have some controls and so on. So now that the project is already made, we can test it. So in Kalipso, we can do two things. One of them is to test the application without actually installing the application as a standalone. This way, we can use, for instance, this testing part. I'm going to move to this deploy menu. We can test on several platforms, on all the supported platforms, in fact. So we are going to test on the simulator. The simulator is not emulating nothing, is actually the Kalipso framework that was installed along with the Kalipso designer, with the added benefit that we can trace what's going on the application. So now I'm going to test it on the Windows desktop, on the simulator in this case. So it's here. The application runs. Let's go here where it is. Let's see where it went.
While Rogério is pushing the application to the simulator, I just wanted to tell you that if you have any doubts, if you have any question, just send it through the chat, and we will answer you for sure.
Okay, so this is the application. We could start drawing and do some things, whatever we would like. So this is the application working, and so on. So this is how we test, and along all the actions that we are performing on the application. Let's start a new one. I don't have many talent in drawing, so please sorry for that. But what you can see here is that all the actions are being displayed here, and you can actually see what's going on inside the application. So this is where we test most of the applications in Kalipso, and this is a quick way to test the application and the one that is most used. After we exit the application, we go back to the designer where we have the means to design it properly. Next, we can test the application on Windows 10. This uses a client with a framework, and we will test the application as a universal app using the universal Windows application. So let's test on local Windows 10.
Rogério, we still have no questions on the chat, but I might have a question for you, which is, could you clarify what would be the difference between testing on the simulator and testing on Windows 10?
Testing on Windows 10, we won't have the ability to trace all the actions, and this will be like a simulation on a Windows phone. Anything that has Windows 10 in it will have this. We will be testing as this way. On the other hand, since the simulator is using, let me see here. Okay, let me see if I try to install it. Let me try again. On the other hand, this will enable us to use a more refined. We will design the application. Let me see if this is working. I think it's installed. I uninstalled everything before we start, so please bear in mind. So this will actually work. The closest thing to use as a Windows 10 application with its native controls and so on. So let me see what happened here. Maybe I will use the other way around.
So as you can see, it's really a live presentation, and Rogério is going on the way around. Rogério, can you explain us what you're doing?
Now what I'm going to do is using the synchronize feature, because this actually installs a client, a framework where we can send the project to. Basically, this is a way to test several projects on using the same framework. This will enable us to, without installing anything, just send to this application what we want. I'm just going to put my credentials here. Then when we perform a synchronization, which will happen to a service which handles this communication between devices, which is called MIS Communicator, I can go there and fetch the application that I want. For that, I need to create here an update. In fact, this is how we can test it on iOS, and I will explain it later. So let me see here. I want to generate the project file. Sometimes Microsoft plays tricks on us, so it's here now. And now we have the application, and the application will run as expected. This will make, here we can draw and so on. So this is the application running on the Windows 10 architecture. Next, we can test it on Windows Mobile or CE. By the way, if you go here to test on PC, we have this other option, which is run the project again. This will act basically the same as running on as choosing the simulator, but instead of recompiling the application all over again, it will just run the last version that we've done. So let's go here. We need to wait approximately 3 seconds, and we go back to the application. Okay, let's move on. Next, we can also test on Windows Mobile or Windows CE. It's the same thing. I'm just going to pull here my Windows 10, my Windows Mobile terminal. I'm going to test it. The project will be sent to the device. In order for this to work properly, we need to have the Windows Mobile Device Center properly configured. It will have to detect our device in order for this to work. Microsoft Windows normally tends to discontinue this operating system, but there are ways that we can have it back up and running. So now we have here, and as you can see, we can work with the application as usual. It's working, okay, rotating, and so on. So the process is the same with either Windows Mobile or Windows CE devices. We can also test it on Windows Phone 10. I don't have one here, but we can see the requirements that we need to have in order to use this feature. We will have to enable the developer mode and activate the device portal without authentication. So quite simple as that. Let me cancel. Finally, on what we have here on all the platforms, we have the test on Android feature. So if we click here, I select to test it. In order for me to test this properly, I will have to enable the Windows Developer options. Of course, it's already activated, but I will show you how we can do that, because for the moment it's hidden. Let me see here, the application is installing. I believe that it will install properly. See here.
Rogério, I believe that now we are installing the apps using cables, right? Is it possible to cover how to do it with Wi-Fi, for example, if possible?
Yes, with Wi-Fi, the process is similar with this one. In fact, what we are doing is using an application which is called K-Client. Kalipso is installing that application on the mobile device. If you don't have any cable, you can simply go to the Play Store, search for it. Let me go here. Of course, it already installed it. It will ask for some permissions and so on. But basically, it's also an application here. Let me see. Where is it? The Play Store. This one. We choose to install it. And in fact, it's what we do for when we are using the we intend to test on iOS devices. So let's close this application here. Let's go back to this device. This is the application. If we have, let me just close everything. We have here the K client already installed, and as you can see, the project is listed here. If we didn't have any cable, we would have to install it over the Play Store, configure the server, which is we will have to point to the MIS communicator. Again, it's a service that we can install on our computer. We will have to input our address or write the host name. You see here. I will put this as terminal number 2. And if we synchronize, the project is sent here. And if we go back, we can run. Of course, this is an updated project. In fact, this is how we can use on iOS device. So in order to use it on an iOS device, I'm going to try and connect in order for you to see. Let me see here. Let me see. Ready to connect. I will try to connect it for me to see it. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I now can see it. Okay. Stop broadcast. Start broadcast. Okay. Okay, now I will have here our application. We go to the App Store. We install this K-Client B40. Install it. And now we have the application installed. Let me see, where is it? Where did it went? So what's doing here? It's here, of course. So now, since Kalipso doesn't have the ability to send directly to an iOS, because we need to have it installed on a Mac computer, we will have to do this as we did with Windows 10 and as I explained on an Android. So let's do here, insert here our data. I already have this connection profile created. Number 3. If I try to synchronize, sorry, this one needs the IP address. Not authorized. Maybe I typed this wrong. Let me just go here. Okay. It will receive all the projects that I had lying around there. And this is our application running on an iOS device. So it's running the same way as it did on the other platforms, rotating and so on. So this way you can test it as usual. This is the process of testing the application. Whenever you need to send it, for instance, for iOS, you just need to create an update, choose the device ID. By the way, this device ID is the same as I've defined here. In this case is number 3, so this range is good enough. I would need to simply select here the number 3 for number 3, but in this case I generate for all the devices that I already have connected. And wirelessly, as long as the device has an internet connection, a network connection to my computer, to the MIS communicator that I have installed on my computer, I can freely synchronize the project and run it again.
So, Rogério, for the ones who never tried Kalipso, And can you explain us, can you resume us, what is this MIS communicator? So what does it do?
Basically, MIS Communicator is a service that we can install, and it will also manage the database connections between the device and those database servers. It will also allow us to perform application updates, and in fact this is what we are using in order to work around the fact that we don't have any cables, or in the case of the iOS device, we don't have means to send the application directly to the device from the designer. So we can simply create an update. Since we've already installed the framework, we just need to send the project there in order to test it. This is basically the way that we can work. And for this example, we just need to know how this MIS communicator is actually running. It's already installed along with your Kalipso installation. You just need to create a connection profile, like I've done here. I'm using a password and this encryption for security reasons, but I could also use it without any of this.
Thank you very much for your explanation, Rogério. It might be useful to add that Miscommunicator comes along with Kalipso, so it's completely free. Once you have Kalipso, you also have Miscommunicator. Rogério, we have here one more question. There was someone who didn't really go through all the steps with you to simulate on iOS. Can you explain it briefly again? Just like a recall of it?
Yes, of course. So basically, what we do in order to test the application on the device, we just need to, let me just go back here and replay, make this recording again. Okay. In order for you to see what's happening on the device. I'm going to connect it, allow. This is the screen. Okay. So here we have the device. In order to test the application, we need to install this K-Client application, which is found on the App Store. If we search for sysdev, this application along with other ones. So from here, we open the application, and then we need to synchronize the projects. So this is where the MS communicator comes in. When we try to synchronize, this client will talk to MIS communicator and ask if there is something for him. Without going into many details, it will ask for something that is for him. So here I configure all the steps to connect to the MS communicator. I have all the details here. I know that is this port. I can configure whatever port that I want. Everything is okay. Terminal number 3, as you can see here. Going to save it. And whenever I create an update, I'm sending to this range of devices. It's created. Let's go back to, if I try to synchronize, there is a project for this device. It will fetch that file, and then we have this application here ready to run. So we don't have to go to the hassle of publishing the package and so on, just to test the application time and time again. So I believe this is roughly the explanation that you might wanted to know. I don't know if you were clarified enough, but anything, just ask.
So just as a resume, Rogério, Basically, for testing in iOS, we just have to connect the device to our MIS communicator and then synchronize, right? There's no need to compile the project.
Basically, when we try to update, we are basically compiling a description, a behavioral aspect of the project, but we are not creating an application package by itself. We are just using an application that is already available on the App Store, which is the K client, and this is what we'll use to host our project and other projects that we have along the way. So for testing, this is the thing that we use just to verify if everything is working okay. Uh, as you might already know or not, was a feature that was introduced with the version 4.4.1. So the iOS client is only available to run projects from this version. So that's if you only have the Kalipso 4.4.0, although you can generate the project, you cannot run it on an iOS device due to licensing issues. Next, I believe we've covered pretty much the testing parts. Now we are going to talk about creating the application. So uh, it's good to have a way to quickly test the application across all the platforms and devices. But when we deliver the application, when we try to publish it, it's a good idea to have a standalone package and a ready-made application, ready to run and to install on the device that you would like to use it. So in order to generate an application for Windows 32 devices like desktop, Windows Mobile, Windows 3, we just have to click here and generate the executable. So we can generate for all the platforms that we have here. Let's just generate it. As we might uh, project executables. Then we have those executables here. Just see if it's ready here. I'm just go to this folder. As you can see here, we have the desktop, which is this executable. If we double click on it, the application will expand and it will run. So it will wait approximately 3 seconds. And then we have the application here. The process is the same on Windows Mobile. We can go and do this. So let's go again to the device. Where is it? I don't know if it's here or not. It disconnected. But the process is the same. I don't think I really need to show you. You just need to copy the package to the device and run from there. So no problem. Let me see if yes, it appeared here. I just need to go there. Folder, deploy, Windows Mobile. Let's go to here. We just need to copy. It will take some time, so when it's ready, I can show you. Next, we can generate a universal app. This will allow it to run on any device that has Windows 10, like Raspberry Pis, IoT devices, and so on. So let's go and do this. Generate an APK. We need to have a product ID. We need to create a company signature. pretty self-explanatory. We would have to have this available. If you intend to publish your application on the Windows store, you would have to register as a developer and generate there the application IDs and so on, all the data that we'll need to put here. Next, you just have to press on this OK, and then you have the package already made. I've already have this package generated here. It's this Windows 10. I will have this as a side load. If I double click it, I will install it. Of course, I need to have this certificate. I just use this script. The application will try to install.
Rogério, since we are waiting for the application to install, can you please help us with a question, which is what is the advantage of an application package versus the CAP client approach? Or what are the differences, the main differences, and the advantages, disadvantages?
Like I said, the main difference is that when you generate a package, whenever you run that package, it will only run the application that we've designed, that we've built. When we are using the K client, we can send there as many projects as we would like and run it on the same framework. In fact, if for some reason the framework needs to support a new feature or anything else, you just update the framework using the K client. You just update the K client, and all the projects that were there you can run again with the new version. Basically, that's the main reason. And for developing without going to have always installed the K client, the framework, and the project, have an application for each project, and that way you can spare some space and resources using centralizing the framework and having all the projects running from there. Another thing is that you don't need to have the K client installed in order to run this standalone application. In fact, this framework is embedded on your application package, on the final package.
Also, in terms of final consumer, I mean, if you're sending an application to a customer, it might be better for the application to look better with the app icon and everything. So instead of being inside the key client, it looks more aesthetic, and the client is more used to click on that icon, right?
Yes. Of course, we can customize it. As you can see here, I have the application. It will run directly as we did. As you can see, the application runs as we would like to be designed. So let me just go here to this form. Let me enable this, which was disabled by default. But basically, this is how we can. This is what we will have. This is for side loading. This way, I've installed directly the application without publishing it anywhere. But if we intend to send it to the store, we have this package, which is the one that we will use to host on the App Store and to submit in order for it to be published. Next, we have here the APK. One thing that we need to know before we go to the APK feature is that we have in order to generate this APPX, the Windows Universal Application, we have to install the Windows 10 SDK. So you need to go to the Microsoft website and download it and install it. And also you need to have the Kalipso Designer installed on a Windows 10 machine in order to build it. In order to create an APK, which is the Android package for installation, we also have some prerequisites, some requirements. So let's go. First, we need to fill this data, which is already made. I previously made this in order to spare some time. By default, this is already filled. Then you need to generate a signature, like I did here. We can customize some options here if we wanted to do it so, and so on. Requirements, all the permissions that the application needed. So we can set this either to auto, manual selection, or all active. Then you would press OK, and the APK would be generated. So since in order for us to don't have to wait for the APK to build, I already have this made, and this is the package that we need either to send it to the Play Store or to send it directly via email or a cloud hosting or FTP and so on. So we have here the package that we need to install it on the Android device. So I can, in this case, I will need it to move it to the storage of the device. I can do it using this just by dragging it. The application will install. Okay, and if I go to the menu, we have the application here installed. So the first time it will run this way. Let's go here. Next time it will run directly, and we have the application already running from here. So as usual, this is a way where we can use the application and install it on an Android device. Let's go here, let's cancel. And finally, we need to generate, you can also generate a script to use it on iOS devices. In order to generate an IPA package, an iPhone application package, this cannot be done directly from a Windows platform. We would have to to get a Mac OS computer and send all the things that we are going to generate here. But before that, we can select the deploy type either by side loading or publishing it to the Windows Store. We can define some targets, and the most important part here is the signing. This will have to be created if you intend to submit it to the App Store or other things that I will explain. You have to generate this on your Apple developer account. So I'm going to go connect here to a Mac OS computer, a cloud. I will go here. This will be available. While this connects, I will go to the Apple sites and show you something from here. So I will sign in. First, I will need to generate a certificate. I already have some of them here. I have this development, and I have this distribution. In order for me to use this, I will need either for side loading or for publishing on the store. I will have to have one of each. Let me just minimize this while we are doing this. Now we have these certificates, we download them, and then we need to install it on our uh, Mac computer. I've already have them here. Let me just see if I can show you. A little bit slow. Just go here to my keychain access. I have this one here and this one here, for instance. And as you can see, these IDs are the ones that I'm using. Let me just go here. Are the ones I'm using here for side loading. And then since I only have one, I just need to to write here something that will uniquely identify the certificate that I will be using. The macOS will try to find it for me. So this is the data that I generated. So I already have this certificate. Next, I need to create an app ID. So I already created one here. You have to bear in mind that these IDs are all case sensitive, so you need to be careful. Uh, Here I have this app ID. And finally, I will have to generate provisioning profiles, either for development or for distribution. I have one here for development and one here for distribution. So I would simply download this to my computer, to the Windows computer, because I need to find it here. As you can see, for development, I have this one, and for publishing it, I have this one. So now I have all the things that are necessary to generate an iPhone application. I believe I have some questions.
Great, Rogério. I believe you elucidated quite well what we can do with iOS. Of course, we have some questions, and we have some questions about the iOS part. There is someone asking us if you can work with Kalipso in a Macintosh. To this one, I can answer. Actually, you can't. You can't work with a framework with the designer. What you can do is with the Windows computer, you can generate you can build an application in Calypso, and then you can deploy it to iOS. But the designer doesn't run on a Mac.
On a Mac OS operating system, you cannot. But if you launch a virtual machine with Windows 10, or you can run it inside the Mac OS, no problem.
Yeah, I was actually talking about the software part, not the hardware part. Yeah, but I got you. Anyway, there is something important. There is a way to do everything that Rogério did without buying a Mac computer. Actually, we are not using a Mac computer. We are using a banal computer with Windows, but we have a virtual machine, right, Rogério?
Yes. I'm connected to a Mac OS operating system, but this computer is stored in a cloud. So I simply remote desktop to it without having to buy a Mac computer. If I don't have one, I can just use this.
Yeah, so that's actually great, and you can work with Calypso even without a Macintosh. Rogério, we have here two questions for you. This time is for you. What is what is side loading on iOS? The first question, and the second one is if there is any cost to getting the certificates.
Uh, if you want to get these certificates, the only cost involved is the cost involved with having a developer account. I don't know those type of details, but you need to have this developer account, and I believe that in order to publish something to the App Store, you will have to pay an annual fee or something like that. But I don't have insert in details that. The sideload part is the one that I was going to explain also after I generate this IPA script. So I have this, I have the OK, override it. Of course, I've already done this before, just in order to make sure that this was working. This will generate the scripts. The scripts will go, I will find a way to send them to my computer, like I did here. This my computer also needs to have the Xcode developer tools. So let me just clear here the screen. These are the folders that are generated here. Since I've already done this before, I have them here. And then we have this compile command. I just write this to make it a shell script in order for it to have run permissions. Press enter and it will start to run. I will do this again. To the store. To the store. I'll do this the same. Okay. Press enter. The script is generated. The package will be generated. As for the side loading part, I already have this IPA package. I will have to send it to my Windows computer if I intend to install it. And this is a, a recent thing that we've discovered. I already have that package here. I will show you. If you have the iTunes application, and if you have your iPod connected to your computer, if you intend to install the sideload APK, not the store one, you will have to. You can simply just drag it to your device. I will just try to connect again. Okay. See here. See if I can remote sports. Let me see where is it. What will be installed? Okay. Now I have here this application installed. So if I try, I will try to repeat this process in order for you to see that it was actually working. Just place this here. Just arrange this a little bit. I have this IPA. If I drag it to my device using iTunes, of course I'm using the default icon for iOS. I didn't have time to make the one with the specific for it, but I believe you. And now I have here the application running on this device. That's because I use the side loading part. I did, as you can see here, where is it? Development. I had to register the devices that I've intended to use. Here is our iPod. I'm allowing it to run on every device that our company owns. That's why this application. If you try to run a store built IPA, you wouldn't be able to run it as we did here. So this is in order to test it, it's not so convenient as using the K client, but you can also use this to test the application before submitting it to the Play Store. In order to work with the Play Store, I believe I already did this. Let me just go here to this process. Now that we have our IPA generated, let's go here to the store. We have this IPA. We need to use the application loader available in our Mac that was installed along with the Xcode tools. So I just need to drag it here or choose it from here, desktop, iOS, store, this one here. So it will do all these steps. I don't know if it already uploaded this version before. Anyway, when this ends, if everything is okay, the application will be ready to be used on the Play Store. So I'm just going quickly to the iTunes Connect, which we will also have to have an account. I'll try to automatically fill this. We have this here. We've already created a profile for that. My apps. Let's go. But basically, the iOS is the most trickiest part in order for use. So here we have the Pintas application. Already have all this information. Pricing and availability. And the prepare for submission part. So here we would have to specify something. If we intended, we need to submit for reviewing and so on. But in order for testing it without having to publish directly on the Windows Store, we have this option which is called the test flight. This test flight will allow some users to install your application without fetching it from the App Store itself. So this will have a public link, test information, group name, testers, something like this, and then public link, builds. Let's have here a build. Normally this takes some time to become available. That's why I've already uploaded a version before. But this is the process. Test information, no sign in, feedback email. I'm going to input sales. Sorry for the spam. And I'll have to fill everything. I don't know this number by heart. Just something here. Something like this. English US. Just to test. This is a quick way to test it. This will submit your application. Normally it takes some time, but if you don't need to have a public link to be available for testing, I can simply add testers by its own email. So for instance here, I will put my email. So I have here added to this group. If I intended to use it, I just simply send it from here. Now, on my iOS device, I'll try to connect to it again, just to show you its screen. It's quite complicated to use iOS devices. For this purpose, I mean. So let's go here to, now I can connect. In order to use it, you see here, let me see if I can use it now. Sorry. Close. Let me see here if I can show you its screen. Okay. If I go to the App Store, if I search for an application called Test Flight, somebody already searched, I install it. It will take some time to install, so we'll wait some time. So iOS builds. It takes some time to test and so on. Let's go to this build. I'll add an individual tester. And now if I go to my email account, let me just see if I have this here. Where is it? See if I have some emails. As soon as the email arrives, I will have a code that I can enter on my device on the test flight application. Let me see if I've done it here. Where is it? It's not getting here. No, of course it is takes some time, so that's why we don't have any builds available. So, but I could use another. So if I show it here, let me just try and see it. I believe I already have some applications in order to install. So for instance, I would redeem with the code that would be provided on my email. I will place it here and then I will have it here in this list and I could install it as well. Basically, in order to test on iOS, that's all the steps that we need to know. And regarding testing and deploying, I believe everything that you need to know, I've already explained. I don't know if you already have some questions. If you have anything that you need to answer, for me to answer, please go ahead and ask it.
Thank you very much, Rogério. It was a really long explanation about this part about related to iOS. Actually, I got a question for you, but it's not really related to iOS. It's related to Android. So, is the signature required on Android?
Yes, it is. Uh, yeah, we have here a success. Uh, it, all the APK packages are required to APK and Windows 10 and iOS packages need to have a signature. Why is that? Because anyone that would generate a similar package with a similar name could easily upload the same application as you and make you use it uh, their application instead of the intended for the developer. With the signature, we have a means to always identify the right owner or the right developer for that application. I believe you cannot use an application without being signed. I don't think it's possible. Any more questions?
So, we are completely available for your questions right now. Someone is asking how can they get this video. Actually, we are recording the session, so later on we will make it available for all of you. We will send you through our newsletter. Since you registered in the webinar, you will have it through a newsletter. If you didn't register in the webinar and somehow you got the link, either if it's because you accessed it in our to our website or any other source, just send us an email to marketing@sysdevmobile.com, or just go in our website, which is sysdevcalypso.com, and send us a request form, and we will send the webinar to you, of course, the webinar and the sample. Also, we had other webinars before, and they are fully available in our website. Once you get in the website, in the homepage, you just need to search for the menu, and in the menu you will see there clearly the webinars option. Actually, Rogério, can you show us that? Would it be possible?
Yes, of course. Let me just go here. We have this is a website, the one that we've entered to fetch our sample application. If we go here to the webinar section, we have all the previous events and of course the scheduled ones.
Yeah, and you might notice as well that we have webinars recorded in English and other ones in Spanish. So either language, the language that is convenient for you, you can just download that one.
Yes, that's right.
Any other questions for the moment? No? Okay. Yeah, I believe that we covered everything that we wanted to cover with this webinar. Again, you might not have questions now, but you might have them later, either when you're thinking about this webinar, either when you're trying Kalipso, when you're working with Kalipso if you're already a customer, or even if you consult our webpage and you find any questions, just send us an email, and of course, we will try to help you as soon as possible, as always. So for now, if Rogério doesn't have anything else to say, I believe we can finish this webinar.
I believe I don't have anything, but you might want to inform any future or any person that is interested how you can test and download our application, or what's involved, what's included with our license and so on. What one license does when using Kalipso. Can you explain this a little bit?
Regarding licensing, well, you have the perpetual licenses and the subscriptional licenses. So if you're not a Kalipso customer, you can just ask us for that and for the pricing of it. Basically, the perpetual license is like a license is yours forever. Subscription is the name says that it's a subscription, and you can use the license for 1 year, and then you have to renew it every year. But yeah, we have that. Some of that information is on the website. Some information is on consultation. So if you have any question, of course, you can always send us to our website or to our emails.
Yes. Yes. Of course, I believe João already explained that. If you don't have any more thing that you wanted to know, I hope you have the rest of the Friday and have a nice weekend. And I'll see you if you want on the next webinar. I hope to see you. And thank you all for watching this. This was a little bit long. I delve here in so much detail, but the purpose was really that to show you how the same application, the same project can run across all the platforms. And I think this is really important. We have many clients that have some questions and didn't know how to do this and that. I believe I tried to attend all of this, and also to show new clients, any person that is interested in trying Kalipso for the first time, how easy it is to, with a simple application, with a simple project, use it on many platforms, as we showed here. So thank you all, and see you in the next time.
Yes, thank you very much. Next Monday we will have already new subjects for new webinars. So just check it out on our website next Monday, and yeah, we will be glad to have you again in the future sessions. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, and hope to see you soon. Bye.